On a more positive note, Israeli archaeologists announced they discovered what the floor of the second Jewish temple looked like. It's an amazing story of how the new discoveries are bringing both the past and the Bible to life. This major find came as archaeologists reconstructed 2,000-year-old tiles from the second Jewish temple built by King Herod.
These are the very floors upon which the high priests and the priesthood and the pilgrims who came to the Temple Mount walked. And this is the floor upon which Jesus walked when he came to the Temple Mount.
This discovery resulted from a controversy in 1999 when tons of debris was illegally removed from under the Temple Mount to build an underground mosque.
Now we have the pieces of the flooring tiles for the last 12 years of work from the soil of the Temple Mount. We identified them already some 10 years ago, and we understood that they belonged to such floors.
The Temple Mount Sifting Project began in 2004. For more than a decade, volunteers and staff from Israel and around the world have been examining the debris from the Temple Mount and making historic discoveries.
This is the first time that we are able to restore one of the elements of the architecture of the Second Temple in Jerusalem.
Archaeologists confirm the authenticity of these pieces based on the various sizes, materials, and technique by which they were made.
I never thought that I will be able to find something that is so much connected to the temple proper.
Project Director archaeologist Gabi Barkai pointed out why this achievement should be important for Christians.
This is the very floor upon which the coins were rolling when Jesus turned the tables of the money changers upside down. This is the very floor upon which those coins were rolling.
We have several different stories where Jesus is sitting with his disciples in the porticos, and he's teaching them right there. They're sitting right here on these floors.
Researcher and mathematician Frankie Snyder played a key role in putting the tile patterns together.
This is the first Herodian pattern I was actually able to reconstruct.
Snyder restored the ornate patterns combining geometric principles with comparisons to designs at Herod's palaces.
You find that in the Herodian patterns, the mathematics is impeccable. The sizes, the shapes, how they're putting these things together is just amazing.
So far, about 600 colored stone floor tile pieces have been discovered.
It's sort of like putting together a puzzle, but without a box top. You don't know what the picture's going to look like, and you only have about 1% of the tiles. We're not out to try to prove anything. The temple was there, but we can show you more clearly exactly what was there.
For years, present-day visitors to the Temple Mount imagined Herod's temple was made from white stone. Now Barkai says the restoration of the floor tiles gives a deeper understanding and appreciation for the glory of the second Jewish temple. The second Jewish temple stood on the Temple Mount 2,000 years ago until the Romans destroyed it in 70 AD. Now the Al-Aqsa Mosque sits on the Temple Mount, and it's one of Islam's most recognized structures. But just a rumor about Israel threatening the site sends Muslims around the world into a frenzy. It's a dishonest tactic aimed at not only undermining Israel, but Judeo-Christian values as well. It's one of the most holy and contested pieces of real estate on earth, the Temple Mount. For decades, Islamic leaders have incited Muslims to violence by telling them that the Al-Aqsa Mosque is in danger. First, they claim that the Israelis were undermining its foundations to make it collapse. Now they also say it's a threat even for Jews to pray on the sacred plateau.
Extreme movements believe that Israel is planning to build the third temple and to destroy their holy shrine.
Known in Arabic as the Haram al-Sharif, or Noble Sanctuary, it's the place where two consecutive Jewish temples once stood. The second was destroyed in 70 AD by the Romans. Now, Muslim mosques occupy the site. Al-Aqsa was first built in 705 AD. In Muslim theology, the site precedes the Jews and goes back to creation.
You know, Adam, when he descended from the heaven, he came here and he was pray here.
No different between Sulaiman and King David and all the prophets is all the same. They've all been in Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Today, the entire plateau is referred to as Al-Aqsa. Nadav Shragai wrote the Al-Aqsa is in danger libel, The History of a Lie. He says when Muslim leaders want to unite the masses, they claim it's in danger.
The match that ignites the people and brings them to the streets and causes violence is this libel. Al-Aqsa is in danger, and this is baseless.
Archaeologist Dr. Gabriel Barkai says there have been excavations near the Temple Mount, but never under it.
One of the cornerstones of Western civilization was never touched by the spade of the archaeologist.
Barkai says it was Muslims, not Jews, who began digging in an attempt to rewrite history.
Since the 90s, there were many destructive diggings going on in the Temple Mount, which were not for archaeological purposes, but the contrary, for destroying archaeological data.
Around 2000, the Islamic religious authorities dug up thousands of years of history with bulldozers from under the Temple Mount to make room for a giant mosque. Barkai headed an operation to save artifacts from the discarded material. Years later, archaeologists and volunteers still sift through the debris. According to Shragai, then Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Amin al-Husseini started the libel against Israel in the 1930s. He accused the Jews of wanting to collapse the mosques on the Temple Mount. That led to Muslim rioting and murder of the Jews, just the first of many incidents. Islamic expert Dr. Yitzhak Reiter says the tactic hasn't lost its potency.
They really believe in what they think. The Al-Aqsa is in danger as long as Israel is controlling the eastern part of East Jerusalem.
In 1969, the Muslim world blamed Israel for the arson attack on the Al-Aqsa Mosque by a visiting Australian Christian. That lie continues today. More trouble in 1996. The worst Israeli-Palestinian violence in 30 years broke out when Israel opened an exit for visitors to the Western Wall tunnels half a mile from Al-Aqsa. And in 2004, rain, snow, and a minor earthquake toppled the entrance ramp to the Temple Mount. That provoked an international Islamic uproar when Israel tried to rebuild it. We asked Muslims in Jerusalem what they think.
It's in danger. To destroy him, to took the place, it's in danger.
They are digging underneath it and digging and digging, and they don't find anything.
God will save it.
Experts say it's important the West takes notice now, because millions of Muslims believe the lie is true. They say if it brought violence in the past, it will do so in the future.